Just be advised, it's still active shooter. There's a sniper on the roof.
This is the second time now we've had a shooting at one of our facilities in the Dallas area.
DPD was able to locate the shooter, who was deceased.
It's just got to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives.
It has been a day, to say the least. Thank you for joining us here for CBS News Texas at 5 o'clock. One person now confirmed dead, 2 in the hospital this afternoon, all related, of course, to that shooting at the ICE field office in Dallas this morning. All the victims are said to be detainees being held at that facility.
Of course, now the investigation is shifting to the suspected shooter, and it's spreading across state lines. In fact, we know we were there this afternoon as authorities were moving in on a home in Durant, Oklahoma, and then another home in Collin County. Then there was that massive police presence at the Dallas ICE facility since around 6:40 this morning. That is when the first reports of the shooting came in.
We know leaders across the country are condemning the shootings as politically motivated, and we also found out through the day, obviously, we've been getting updates as we go, shell casings found at the scene, and one of them at least had anti-ICE inscriptions on it. Another image released by Homeland Security, framed U.S. flag with 2 bullet holes that is presumed to be from inside the center. We've got team coverage for you today of a national story unfolding here in North Texas. Our Ken Molestina live where it all happened to get us underway here at 5 o'clock. Ken?
Yeah, Doug and Nicole, good afternoon to you. Yet another act of political violence here in our country, something that has brought up a lot of horror here for this community, this time happening here in Dallas in our very own backyard. I can tell you that the scene here behind me is still a very active one. This happened just before 7 o'clock today. There were police officers, federal and local, even state officials. They had this entire area shut down. We have been able to move a little closer now, so we're just feet away now from the main entrance to this ICE field office, this detention or this facility here. And again, we understand that the folks who were shot, the 3 detainees, were people who were arrested either overnight or in the early hours of the morning today, being brought here to the facility before being transferred out to a more permanent detention facility either throughout the state or in different parts of the area, North Texas area. We don't know exactly where they may have been headed, but we do know that this was the first stop for them following their arrest earlier this morning. Again, very active scene and a lot of questions that still need to be answered, quite frankly, today as it pertains to the shooter, as it pertains to a possible motive, and exactly who these detainees were. We did confirm with the Mexican consulate through a statement that was published earlier today that at least one of those detainees is in fact a Mexican national. I want to go ahead and send things over to J.D. Miles, who's also been covering the story from the very beginning early this morning. He's standing by with more information. J.D., not just only on previous threats that have unfolded here, specifically aimed at this facility, but also at other facilities throughout the area. J.D., you have more information on exactly how all of this played out today and how we got to this point.
Yeah, we learned today this was the second attack, or at least planned attack, in a month here at this facility. We stationed and set up here in the back of it because we wanted to give you an idea of and show you where the shots ended up, where the victims were, and also where the shooter was, give you that kind of proximity. It looks like it's about a couple of hundred yards from each other. You can see the gated fence that surrounds the ICE center here. This is the back of it. You can see that gate that's opening. That's where the vans come and go to pick up those immigrants who are being processed. They sign papers, and then they are sent to detention centers around the state. Now, that's where they were this morning when, if you look over here, just to the west of it, you can see this is a 2-story or 3-story law office. That's where police say and federal authorities say the shooter set up his sniper's perch and fired on the victims this morning. As we said, there's gated security around here along the ICE Center on I-35, but it's open from above, and it was on top of this building where the sniper fired from. It was before sunrise when a family waiting in their vehicle for the Dallas ICE office to open heard the gunshots. Homeland Security officials say a sniper opened fire from the roof of a nearby law office into a walled-off courtyard where immigration detainees signed papers before being bused to detention centers.
Today at approximately 6:40 a.m., we received a city officer call. We responded to the call, got to the scene, and we later learned that we had 4 individuals that were shot.
Dallas Police Chief Daniel Como says officers identified where the shots were coming from, but the gunman had committed suicide before they could get to him. The 3 gunshot victims, identified only as immigration detainees, were taken to Parkland Hospital where one of them died and the 2 survivors remain in critical condition. Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson spoke at the scene.
So I'm going to ask you all to join me also in praying for this city, that we can come together at a time like this, and that we can be there for one another the way we always have.
The gunfire caused damage inside and outside the office building. Even though no law enforcement officers were hurt, authorities released a photo of shell casings found at the scene, including one that had anti-ICE written on it.
It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence. To include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas.
Authorities also revealed today for the first time about another suspected terror plot at this office just last month. A man showed up here with a backpack claiming it contained a bomb. He was arrested and charged with making a terroristic threat. U.S. Senator Ted Cruz visited the scene today and called on the rash of political violence to end.
This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the 3rd shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP. This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop.
You know, we're more than 11 or 10 hours after this happened, and there's still a large presence of police officers out here on the perimeter. There's FBI agents coming and going, collecting evidence. They want to make sure they collect every single piece of evidence they can before they open this area back up. And you have to imagine that after 2 major security incidents like this in less than a month, that there's going to have to be some major security enhancements here soon in the future. Live in Dallas, JD Miles, CBS News, Texas.
Yeah, JD, and you can count on that. I was actually speaking to some sources from within ICE earlier saying that, you know, why they don't have an actual time frame as to when the investigation here on the scene will conclude. They did say it's going to happen for a while now. As we continue to talk about the investigation, important to point out that it has now crossed state lines. We've mentioned that a couple of times. We understand that FBI officials right now are searching a home in Oklahoma, believed to be the place of residence for the 29-year-old shooter identified as Joshua John. So again, that's an area of focus and an area of interest for federal investigators right now. I want to go ahead and check in with Robbie Owens right now because she is in Collin County. She is in Fairview. That is the location of another spot where federal investigators are also searching a home. Robbie, what's the very latest where you are?
Well, Ken, in the hours following that sniper attack, a vehicle parked near that shooting scene led investigators here, a quiet cul-de-sac in Fairview. That's where that vehicle was registered. As you look behind me here, this is why it's blocked off. FBI agents are still inside that home. Only those who live in that cul-de-sac are being allowed through. And yes, it's an understatement tonight to say that neighbors we spoke with are stunned.
I heard that there was an incident at the ICE facility and people were killed, and then I came and saw all this, and it's just unbelievable.
Neighbors were not expecting law enforcement to take over their quiet street, but we suspected that it was just a matter of time before investigators turned their attention here. And then just before noon, local Fairview officers blocked the street to clear the way for FBI agents. Minutes later, we saw several pull up and enter the home, and that's where they've been now for several hours. Neighbors we spoke with say the family that lives in that home are Norwegian, have 2 adult sons, and kept to themselves. Still, neighbors are in disbelief that a lethal sniper attack at a Dallas immigration facility could somehow be connected to their community.
It's just shocking because it's right here in our neighborhood, a few houses down, and no idea that such a thing would be being planned or executed or whatever has happened would be happening this close to me at all.
Now, as for criminal history, Collin County court records revealed a minor marijuana arrest for Joshua Young dating back some 10 years ago. He paid a $500 fine and did some community service. But that is all we have been able to find in terms of criminal history, and certainly nothing that would explain a sniper attack on a Dallas ICE facility. We spoke to other neighbors here. They tell me the family has lived in this cul-de-sac here for 6 or 7 years, but they really didn't know them. And again, nothing that would explain what happened in Dallas earlier this morning. We are, of course, continuing to ask questions, and we'll share what we learn on air and online at CBS News Texas. Ken?
Robbie, you can understand some of the shock and some of the horror right now being shared from so many members of the community right now as everyone tries to digest the details of what happened out here at the Dallas field office earlier today. Folks, we're going to go ahead and just let you know that we're going to continue to follow all of the developments, of course, throughout the day today and throughout the evening, even in the coming days as this story continues to unfold here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, but don't forget that we have your full coverage of this event right now on CBS News Texas.com. We will be